Hey guys, welcome back to the layout. So today we are taking a look. I've got some time off work, so I am going to make use of that time to take a look at some problems that I've got with the layout currently. So let's cover the problems first, and then we'll cover how I'm going to fix it. So this is going to be a layout update, of course, but we're going to be fixing some problems. We're going to be working on this section of the layout, the main yard. We have been working over there, but yeah, today we're going to be working on the main yard. I've still got details planned for the industrial yard and everything in that whole area. I haven't done details yet, but it's that video is going to be on its way. So let's go ahead and get started with this. I don't know when this video is actually going to go up, just real quick. I do know that it is currently Thanksgiving week. It is Tuesday before Thanksgiving, so this is probably going to come out a couple weeks from now, because I'm kind of behind, but happy Thanksgiving, everybody. So let's go ahead and get into it, though. So this track, and basically everything past that, except for this track, is all completely unpowered. I haven't actually tested over here, but because the turntable doesn't work, it's a mess, so I don't really use that. But over here, this whole area is all unpowered, and I'm not 100% certain why. I think originally there was a power bus running underneath of this, but it seems to have gotten disconnected, and it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack down here. So there's absolutely no possibility of actually fixing that problem. So instead what we're going to do, I've noticed we've got power continuity until right here at this joint. And as you can see, that is a metal frog, or not frog, rail joiner, and that is a insulated rail joiner. That's made out of plastic. I don't know why my grandpa did it that way. Maybe it was to turn sections of this on and off. It may have had something to do with the turntable. I don't know. I have no clue. All I know is that it's a problem. This is not the first time I've had this problem, as you can see right here. Last time I had this problem, I simply soldered a jumper wire across, and it solved the entire problem for the entire yard. And I tried to solder to this joint. It didn't really hold all that well. And more importantly, there's another problem with this area. And that's this rail joint here, which is kinked. Essentially, it's kind of warped and twisted because this track is super elevated and this switch is not super elevated. They're at two completely different angles. This one is leaning in towards the camera. This one is leading away from the camera right now. And so because of that, basically it was just designed stupidly. So we've always had trouble with stuff derailing right here whenever we're pushing it back into the yard or even pulling it back out. So I figure, you know what, instead of just trying to solder a jumper wire there, why don't I literally just rip it all out and put it all back together to fix this problem, and we'll just put a metal rail joiner there. And that should, in theory, solve the problem. I don't need it to be perfect, I just need it to be done at this point. I just want to be able to actually get stuff back in there. Because right now, anything that's back there was put there by hand. Pretty much. Because nothing can run back there. Well, except for the big boy and UP cars. So I'm going to go ahead and move everything out of the yard, and then we're going to need to vacuum up the ballast and then rip up some track. Alright guys, I got everything pulled off the layout and out onto the main, as you can see there. So taking a bit more of a look, like I said, this is the bit, as you can kind of see, it forms that kind of kink. So any car over a 40-foot long car is going to have trouble there, is what I found. But a lot of the time, even the 40-foot ones have issues as well, but sometimes they don't. And then this curve is a little bit sharp as well, so I'd like to kind of even that out a little bit if I can. So That's going to be the plan. Also, while I'm at it, I'm going to pull this switch machine off because it doesn't work and it's ugly and I just don't want it there anymore. It's just going to look better anyway because, like I said, it doesn't work. I'm already just doing it by hand anyway, so might as well. And the other thing is that the ballast never actually got glued down properly. It's all still pretty loose, especially in comparison to some of that stuff over there. What I did was a much, much better method. So we're going to use that same method to relay all of the ballast. So we are going to take up all the ballast, even if we're not going to be working over there. We're still going to take up all the ballast. So I'm going to go ahead and get on to that. All I'm going to do basically is I've got a old like sock I got from my grandma in order to vacuum up the ballast, but be able to keep the ballast and transfer it into another container. It should work. I've seen it done, so as long as it isn't too old of a sock or whatever, then it should work. So anyway, I will go ahead and get on to that, and we'll show you the result. Alright guys, that's actually as far as I got. As much as I want to replace all this, the actual process of pulling it all up and everything, I just kind of thought, you know, doesn't look that bad as it is, and I can fix it down a little bit better anyway. It won't be as good as it should be, but it'll be at least a little bit better. But I figure I'm just going to work on the section that I'll be working on, and then I'll deal with the rest of this in a similar fashion to securing down some of the other older bits of ballast that I had placed before, where I essentially just do the glue bath, I guess, on top of it or whatever, where you just drop a bunch of glue on it and it'll stick. So I think it'll be more or less fine at this point. I did kind of want to get it because there's some like that like. Actually, that's plaster showing through. That's not actually. At one point, something fell. Some dust or whatever fell off the ceiling into this mess. So, yeah. But yeah, I think that that's probably going to be the best way of handling this, is to attempt to just do the section that I'm working on and continue from there. So I can tell you right now, I'm going to be taking out from about where this switch is, from on this track up to that switch, and completely replacing that. I'm also going to work a little bit on this absolute garbage roadbed work. Look at this. This is just some cardboard strips under there. There's practically nothing under right there. It's basically, it's a good way to just waste a crap load of ballast. Same with there's a big hole in the roadbed right there. Yeah, I'm going to see what I can do to fix the roadbed while I've got the track up as well, because that's just stupid annoying. And then there's this bit of plaster that I'd like to see if I can kind of tuck underneath of the roadbed over here as well. I don't necessarily know that I need to replace this bit of track though, because this is fine. So anyway, let's go ahead and get onto it. I'm going to work on pulling the track now, and getting things taken care of there, and then putting it all, laying it all back down. Alright, and getting some of the track ripped out. I'm not 100% certain at this point where exactly here I'm going to stop. I've got it ripped out to here for now. This is really well, like, glued down, though. Apparently, somebody discovered how to use glue when building this portion of the layout. Because there's a lot of sections, like that bit over there that I did, that was so easy to pull up. But this is, considerably more, you know, problematic, especially this switch here. So I'm going to actually probably need to replace this switch entirely. The trouble is I don't actually have the same switch, so I may need to replace some of this track as well. This is the only one that I've got, I believe. Yeah, so I do have a second one of them, but like I said, I'm not confident I can get this switch out without completely destroying it. So what does this look like if I put that in there? That's going to be coming off at that angle, which is not what I want. I could move it up forward more. So I'll have like a little gap there, which would not be a bad thing. because this was always very close to this rail. I'm not going to install a switch machine or anything. Possibly a ground throw, but I don't think that I have room. And that would be okay. There's still a little bit of flexibility in this track. I might actually be able to make this work. I'm going to play around with it a little bit and see what I can do. But I do not have confidence in this at the moment. I'll see if I can get this switch out safely. And if I can, great. If I can't, we're going to have to use one of these. This is looks like a number 4 turnout from Atlas. I'm not exactly thrilled with Atlas's track at the moment. Microengineering is where it's at, but I don't have any other switches at the moment. So this is what we got. We got to make do. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, guys, I have something pretty great to show you. We've got power in the yard. Now, the one spot I am not satisfied with is this right here, and you should be able to see why. So as you saw, it was a little bit bumpy in this section right here. I was able to make the 2 number 4 turnouts work. This is one of them, this is the other one, by simply, the original turnout started there, but I put in this secondary bit of track right here in order to push this forward, and that kind of made everything line up well enough. And it looks very much like everything is working. And it seems to have done the trick, but like I said, this little spot here is a little bit bumpy. Looking at it from directly up top, you can see it's slightly kinked, but it should not be a big problem. And you can see that it's more or less okay, but looking at it from this way as well, you can see a little bit. It's a little hard to tell on camera, but it looks like it may be kind of sticking up a little bit. As well. What I think it is I think this rail on this side is a little bit too long, so I may need to, man, the camera won't focus today, jeez. I may need to slightly adjust that, and hopefully that'll kind of fix that problem, but we're going to have to take a look at that. I want to test some cars over it first, because if it's just a bit of a cosmetic bump, then I'm not really concerned with that, as long as stuff actually goes over it. Granted, I'm not looking to reballast this until later in the week, but it will definitely be ballasted by the end of this video, so if there's any comments about it, I'm not going to be able to hear them until after, so hopefully I make the right choice here, but ultimately I will get it figured out. But we do have power all the way in the back. Now the one last little weird thing, this track has power, this track does not. Past this switch, this track still does not have power, which is very strange, as these are not insulated. That's not an insulated joint. There's another joint right here that is also not insulated. So I have absolutely no idea why on earth it just stops right there, but it does. It could straight up just be that nothing's actually really run back there properly for a very long time, and on occasion cars will roll over it, but not very often. So realistically, it might just be very dirty track. So I'll take an eraser to it later, and we'll see what's up with that. But that's more or less mission accomplished. This section definitely, it looks better, and it definitely, everything on this track right here runs very smoothly. Like I said, I think now is about the time. Let's go ahead and test this out with some some cars. I'm probably going to use those box cars back there, and then maybe try some stuff that isn't 40 feet long as well. So try some, or no, those 40 foot, yeah, those are 40-foot box cars. Maybe try some 50-foot box cars or something. All right, we're testing it down track 2, which is the bad. That was the track that derailed every single time, almost every single car. So let's give it a test. Okay, and we still have one problematic spot somewhere. I'm not 100% certain what just caused that, but I can also say this is a new car. I believe it's a cheap old Tyco Mantua, and as you can see if we take a closer look here, it does have plastic wheel sets and truck mounted couplers. So I'll just pull it from the test. As we now know, okay, so that's probably still not, you know, going to work all that well. But everything else seems to be okay. It was not the car that derailed in the first test, I will say, though. So that was this other one. But at least that's something. Okay, so pretty much what this means is that it looks to be everything should be working. We shouldn't have any issues. I'm going to do a little bit more testing with some 50-foot cars, some box cars and gondolas and tank cars and a couple of things along those lines. Some longer cars to see if it has any negative effect on longer cars, but it should be fine. The biggest thing that's ever going to go really back there really is going to be 50-foot cars anyway. I believe the well cars I have might be a little longer than that. They may be a little, but I'm not sure. Or not, did I say well cars? I meant bulkhead flats. Bulkhead flats. But, I mean, that's a pretty simple solution. The only issues we seem to have are the standard issues common to cars that have plastic wheel sets and truck-mounted couplers. So realistically, if I just have all of my stuff up to the standard that I already want to have everything at, which I'm slowly working on changing everything to body-mounted couplers and metal wheel sets, if I can just get that part, you know, body-mounted couplers, metal wheel sets, and that kind of stuff, we should have no issues whatsoever with this spot for the rest of the existence of this layout, in theory. This is still the only spot that I'm a little bit worried about, but in theory, this yard should officially be ready to go. Again, it's just those it's just making sure everything has body-mounted couplers and all that, but realistically, that probably would have been an issue regardless. So, I believe that's probably pretty safe to say that this has been successful. So I'm going to do a little bit more testing and everything, but I am going to end this for today and come back with you guys later on in the week. For y'all guys, it will be like 3 seconds, so just hold tight. For me, it's going to be a couple days. I'll come back here after Thanksgiving and get things ballasted and put back on the layout and everything. But yeah. Alright guys, it is later in the week from last that you saw on the layout, and I am getting ready to go ahead and reballast this. I'm not 100% certain that I'm going to worry about that track right there today. I think we might save that for another day. I'm kind of on a bit more of a time crunch than I thought that I was going to be. But let's go ahead and get going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the standard practice of taking some of these ties or whatever and just slipping them underneath of the rail joiners to kind of hide that gap there. I am, however, and I don't think I'm going to ballast this section either, I'm going to stop the ballast somewhere like right around here-ish. I want to actually leave this open for the time being, which is part of the reason why I'm not going to go ahead and do this as well. I want to wait on both because I'm a little worried about this section, and I want to really get using it a little bit more before I actually say that it is, in fact, good to go. I've done some more testing, but I'm still not certain. I want to be certain. I want to go ahead and be... I want this to be the last time I ever rip this up, so I don't want to ballast this today if I'm not certain, so I'm going to wait. See what it does a little bit, and then after that we will hopefully be good. I still think it might need replacing, but we're going to go ahead and get ballasting at least up until there. And then, like I said, we'll worry about this track and the right in front of the station, and then this little section here another day. So let's go ahead and get on to it. Like I said, ties under the spot where we have the rail joiners. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to try, I've got some of this cork road bed that was kind of put like right here. It was done very, very strangely, and there's a lot of holes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of this road bed into those holes to try and fill up some of these gaps. The other thing that I'm going to do that I hadn't really thought about and probably should have done before I left last time is use some of this glue and try and seal in some of these holes, because I don't remember exactly which one, but one of these goes all the way down to the floor, and last time I ballasted there was a small pile of ballast right there for quite a while because it took me a while to get around to vacuuming. So we don't want that, so I want to seal up those holes and everything. They were for stuff like the switch machines and stuff, because we just had these Atlas switch machines, and well, there's not a lot of space there, and I'm going to be honest, the wiring is just, I'm not willing to worry about it, so we're just gonna roll with them being hand throws. But yeah, let's go ahead and get on down to it. Alright guys, I mostly got the ballast taken care of. I didn't get it here though, because I shifted this over a little bit in order to make it work. Which means that there's a lot of distance, so I figured we could probably put a little bit of greenery right there. But other than that, I got the ballast down. Does not seem to have caused any problems or anything. And it should be good, but I am going to go ahead and end this video here. We will come back in the next one with continuing to work on this area. I wanted to go ahead and just keep things a bit more simple. We got the ballast done, and I've got a couple of things that I want to do for the details around that I need a little bit more time to work on. So, that being the case, I'm going to leave this one here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Later, everybody.